And one of the reasons that I do enjoy going down there to speak is because one of the greatnesses that I learned from my Rebbe, from Rabbi Noah Weinberg, of blessed memory, he wasn't a protectionist, if there's such a word, type of individual. He always recognized and realized that for there to be a, as my wife would say, renaissance, for there to be a renaissance of the Jewish people, then we need to get as many people involved any which way that we can. And he didn't care if it was through Aish or who or how it was done. And so when Rabbi Stilerman came here and started doing the programs, I don't even know exactly how I first got there, to be honest with you. But I saw, like, here was this wonderful, young, dynamic speaker, organizer, who's making a very, very meaningful impact on the South Florida Jewish community. And I wanted to just help in any which way that I can. And he spoke, he came, he was in the neighborhood for Pesach. I thought he was a wonderful speaker. I told him he needs to speak more often in public. And so that's what I'm trying to accomplish over here, to get him to speak more often in public. And hopefully that will be an inspiration for him to speak to other groups as well. Please give a warm welcome to Rabbi Stilerman.
Good evening, Aish, South Florida. Welcome to the Roberto Kassin Memorial event. Where's Mrs. Kassin? Claudia. The Torah learned tonight should be a great memory for you. Your husband should be a great memory for your mother-in-law as well. Also up to tonight's honorees. Cynthia, Michael did a great job. Used the cutting board well. Watch out for the fingers. You need all of them. That's what they say, even the little one. And mazel tov to Janet Rishi. Well said, very, very good, and I appreciate the good words. I have 3 loves. I've got many loves, but I'm going to confess only 3 of them tonight. Love number 1 would be Rabbi Nightingale. I love the man. I love the Aish, South Florida. I met Rabbi Nightingale about 3 years ago in London. I was in London, he was here. We met via Google. I looked at him, he didn't know I was looking at him. It was a fantastic meeting. I got to read his resume. Till today, it's the best bio. I got to read his bio. It was the best bio I've ever read. I encourage you to check it out. It's actually interesting reading. It's there, aish.florida.com. There's a little donate button next to his bio. Explore that as well. 20,000 people he's met. Doesn't know their names, but he's met them. How many people could claim that? Probably a lot, but only one person claims that on their bio. Where's the chairman of the board? Chairman, love you too, man. You're great. You're just great. I run every day. I run 3 kilometers, or try every day, but it's more like once a month. But I try to do it every day, and that's thanks to you, Michael. I appreciate that a lot. I love Aish, South Florida. I also love polar bears, to be honest. And I love my dad very much. But I'm going to talk about the polar bears for now. I had the opportunity of going to a zoo when I was very little because I was obsessed with these polar bears. They're massive, they're mighty. I'm obsessed with all polar bears, even the ones that don't drink Coke. If you've ever been underneath the polar bear while they're swimming, they actually have like webbed arms. And I was in a zoo as a little kid, dying to see these polar bears. And I finally get to this exhibit, big exhibit, massive, national exhibit that they built just for these polar bears. And I'm a little thing. The wall's about this high, I'm about that high, and we're jumping up, trying to see the polar bears. And I'm looking all around for the big, mighty polar bear that I've envisioned all day. And I see, way out in the back of this exhibit, the big polar bear. And he's doing something that looked a little bit like this. He's taking like 3 steps back, 3 steps forward. I thought he maybe missed mincha or something. I was like, come on, you're a polar bear. Do something exciting. Get up and rip a fish apart. Entertain us. But he just sat there the whole time. And I watched him for about 10 minutes, and sad to say that's all it did. It took its 3 steps back and its 3 steps forward. while you're thinking about the polar bear, I want to share with you a remarkable idea that I've read and learned in the great works of Rabbi Shlomo Stilerman. This is an idea that I read years ago, and it's stayed with me ever since. And if I could point to something that I can say legitimately has changed my life, it's this, and here it is. So last time I was at Aish, South Florida, it was Pesach morning, and I wasn't expecting it because you walk into a synagogue, usually you see there's books, there's people, maybe there's tissue boxes. They had frogs, and lots of them. And there was wine all over the floor, and there was ping pong balls, and there was a whole balagan. It was a mini zoo, all over the place. It seems they just did an explanatory seder the night before. It seems it was the first time in 200 years that the janitor woke up late, and as Rabbi Nightingale said, if it's not the janitor who's going to clean up, it's the owner. So, Michael, I'm not sure if you were there, but I definitely saw Rabbi Nightingale cleaning up. Were you there that morning? You didn't? Okay, so co-owner then. But Rabbi Nightingale was cleaning up these frogs, and it was cleaning up they went through a little something for each of the 10 plagues. 10 plagues are cool. We know the story, but a quick refresher. The 10th plagues has a little bit of a rhythm to it. Paro says to the Jewish people, you guys, you can be working. Moses says, let my people go. He says, no, I won't let them go. It's got a little nice rhyme to it, and he says, if not, I'll bring the blood. Bring it on. If not, I'll bring the frog. Bring it. And they go through the 10 plagues. And after each plague, Paro repeats his rephrase, I will not let them go. And the Torah says that his heart hardens, becomes stiff, and he cannot bend. If you look carefully in the verses, after the first plague, Paro hardens his heart. After the second plague, again, and after the third and after the fourth. After the sixth plague, which is the plague of Shechina, boils. If you look carefully at the verse, something switches here. Paro is ready to let the Jews go. You want to go? Go. The Almighty steps into the picture, and the Almighty hardens his heart. And what Rabbi Shlomo Stilerman asks, he says, what's so special about the sixth plague? What's so special about the boils? Come on, there was frogs, there was blood, there was dams, fadeya, kinim, arav, wild animals. There was elephants, there was lions running around. What was it about the boils? That Paro would have let the Jewish people go if not for the fact that the Almighty had to come and intervene and harden his heart. What was about the boils? Says Rabbi Shlomo Stilerman, the boils. There's nothing unique about the plague. It was how the plague happened. You see, there was a little bit of a conversation happening between Moses and Paro. Moshe says, Paro, what are you doing? Why are you enslaving all the Jewish people? Come on, there's a bigger world out there. There's an Almighty, there's a God. Can you come up with a bigger plan in your life than to enslave others? Is that the way you're going to live your life? Is that how you're going to get a high? By putting others down? And Paro doesn't listen. He's got a very narrow perspective, very, very narrow. And each time he hardens his heart more and more. He hardens his heart. But something happened at the sixth plague. An epiphany moment for Paro, where everything changed. What happened? Moses does something simple to make the plague happen. He steps down, he picks up a handful of dirt. And scripture tells us that he takes this handful of dirt and he throws it. Does a little wind up, one hand, he throws it, and this dirt goes all the way up and ascends to the skies and comes down and spreads out all over Egypt. Who's signing the baseball today? Alex Rodriguez, right? Even he couldn't throw a baseball that high, hit a cloud. Let alone dirt. It's impossible. Shmulevitz points out from the scriptures that there was no miracle happening here. Moshe, with his own might, took this dirt, and he could have took Alex's baseball, and he would have thrown it to another country. He had that might, without any miracle. And Paro saw plague 1, blood. And he said, come on, Moses. Come on, Moshe. That's God, and I'm man. Let God be God, but I'm man, and this is what I'm doing in my life. He saw plague 2. Again, another miracle from God. Frogs, another miracle. Plague 3, another miracle from God. Each time he said, God is God, but I'm man. What happened in plague 6? Suddenly, he saw the power of man. And when Paro saw an individual, a regular guy, Moshe, he was an older fellow, he was in his 80s, had a white beard, woke up to him, picked something up and threw it up to the sky. That's what blew his mind off. He's like, wow, man can do that. This is the power of man. If this is the power of man, I'm man. I can be great too. I can be something. Says Rabbi Shlomo Stilerman, at that moment, Paro was ready to do a 360, to become a Baal Teshuvah. He was ready to sign up for Aish. And if not for Paro intervening, it could be Paro would be the guest speaker tonight at an Aish event. He would have been a celebrated, wonderful rabbi of Paro. But the Almighty intervenes and hardens his heart. Why? That's a different question. This is the first time that Paro dreamed. He dreamed, he saw something big, he saw something bigger than himself, he saw something bigger than his self-interest. And he said, if this is what man is capable, what am I capable of? And he was able to see beyond what generally restricts a human being, which is our minds. Our minds just confines us, our minds holds us back. And at this epiphany moment, he was bigger than anything that had restricted him. It was years later that I was reading out online. And I read up about the zoo. And it turns out, as it goes with some fundraising campaigns, that the board of directors of the zoo were planning a renovation that should have taken a year. Funds were low, and it ended up taking them several years, 3 or 4 years. And as they renovated this small place for the polar bears to this big, massive natural habitat, where were the polar bears? What do they do with them? They put them in cages. And when the polar bears were in cages, what were they able to do? 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward. The owners of the zoo took him out and said, here it is, acres of land, natural habitat, have fun, there's ice, there's slides, there's coke, there's everything here. But they were stuck. They were stuck in their own prison of the mind. They were still in that cage. They could never get out of that cage. Their mind was inhibiting them. Their mind was holding them back. His whole life, Paro was a polar bear. He was stuck. This is all I can do. I'm Paro. This is what I need to do. I need to subjugate the Jewish people. I need to live this life. And he had an epiphany moment when he realized that the cages, that the bars were just in his mind. He realized that the bars did not exist. He said, wow, here's a man who can throw ashes so high. Wow. The bars aren't there. They're a figment of his own imagination. When Paro realized that all along, when he was in prison, it was his own prison, the prison of his own mind, his own imagination. And as soon as those fake bars were removed, he was ready to soar. I'll share something personal with you. My wife, Adina, myself, when we were in a crossroad, things happened in our family, we needed to make a change. And we were exploring different career options. And there were some great options on the table that provided financial stability. Have health insurance for the kids, for myself. Be able to pay the lease on the car, put away the savings, fantastic. But there was another option on the table, which involved pursuing a dream. For some reason, dreams don't come with financial stability. And when I'm in a bind like this, I talk to someone who I respect and admire very much. I said, Dad, what do I do over here? What do we do? Like any good father in this room would say to their son. What do you follow? Follow the money, right? Follow the money. He's like, you have to think about your kids, your wife, your children, your future. I'm like, Dad, come on, there's a dream here. Let me go pursue my dreams. I finally said to him, he said, Shlomo, you want to be a big person, you want to be a big man, you gotta have your feet on the ground. You gotta be responsible. You gotta have your feet on the ground, but live with your head in the clouds, and that will make you a big person. Be financially responsible, but dream. Dream big and dream bigger, and go for it. Rabbi Shlomo Stilerman, known as the Panovich Rav, grew up in a small town in Lithuania. He's a guy who was a dreamer. He was a visionary, that man. One of the greats who passed away not so long ago. The man built 3 big yeshivas in Lithuania. A big orphanage. He was a doer, he was a builder. The Nazis came, destroyed everything he built, his family, his friends. He survived. He comes to Israel. And he wants to rebuild. He has the opportunity of meeting with a gentleman named David. You might know him by his last name, Gurian, middle name Ben. And he has the opportunity to ask him for some land. He wants to build again, to rebuild. And he says, Mr. Ben Gurion, look at this land here. And he pointed to a wasteland. There was nothing there for miles. He said, look at this. Right over here, it's going to be a big building. It's going to be a yeshiva. There's going to be children coming in and going. Down the road, there's going to be a big orphanage where we'll take in all the children that were displaced from the war. And over here, there's going to be a big synagogue. And over here, there's going to be buildings and complexes. People are going to be living. And maybe another yeshiva down the block. And this over here. He plays this whole big picture for Mr. Ben Gurion. David Ben Gurion looks at the Panovich Rav and says, with all due respect, you're dreaming! You are dreaming! This will never happen! Look in front of you, it's a wasteland, and look at you! The Panovich Rav looked at David Ben Gurion and said, I might be dreaming, but at least I'm not sleeping. That wasteland today is a city called the Bnei Brak, with over 200,000 Yidden living there. The yeshiva he built was the Panovich Yeshiva. It became a Torah capital of the world. I might be dreaming, but at least I'm not sleeping. So many people go to sleep at night just to dream. But there's some that wake up to dream. There are some people that wake up to dream. And I feel so fortunate to be here right now in a room of dreamers. Aish was a dream. If you look at the Aish South Florida website, it says connecting Jews to Judaism. Connecting Gentiles to Judaism, easy. Jews to Judaism, very difficult. Some would say impossible. reaching the multitudes, the thousands, the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, the millions of Jews. That's a dream. And anybody who walked into this room tonight is here because they believe in that dream. Anyone who walked into this room tonight is a dreamer. Anybody who is here tonight is the furthest extreme of a polar bear. There's nothing holding us back. There's no bars, there's no fake prisons. We can't accomplish anything, we can't do the impossible. And I'm honored to be in a room of dreamers, honored beyond belief. And I want to share with you a final story. It took place 7 years ago. An older man was turning 70. And in honor of his 70th birthday, decided that he was going to finish a volume of Talmud. And he's brimming from ear to ear because he finished the volume, and he goes to invite his mentor, his rabbi, a rabbi who many of you will recognize the name in Israel, in Jerusalem. His name was Rabbi Tzvi Finkel, a legend of our generation, a builder of our generation, a visionary, a dreamer. The man responsible for building the Mir Yeshiva, a renaissance, a movement of Torah learning that has never been seen before, perhaps could be considered the largest Torah learning institution in the world today. And he goes to his mentor and he says, Rabbi Finkel, he's holding the tractate of Talmud in his hands. He says, look, I finished it. And Rabbi Finkel congratulates him and says, Mazel Tov. But do you know that there's not just one tractate in the Talmud? There are many. Go back home. Come to me when you're serious. Come to me when you have a plan of finishing all the tractates in Talmud. The guy is 70. He walks out. His shoulders are falling. His excitement was pulled out of him. He was expecting a smile and a hug, and instead he was sent back with the homework. But he takes it seriously. And he goes home and he sits down with a pen and a paper and he begins to write a plan. How could I learn the whole tractate of the Talmud? How much time would it take me? And he shows up to his Rebbe a few days later. He says, Rebbe, I have a plan. I'm thinking if maybe either maybe before in the morning chakras, maybe after chakras, or in the afternoons, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn a page of Talmud, or 2 pages, or half a page, and I'll do it over a couple of years, and please God, in 5 years, 10 years. The Rebbe looks at him and says, come back to me with a plan! That's not a plan. And sent him out of his office. The 70-year-old man, he goes back to his house. And he starts writing what he will do the next morning, what time he will wake up. He's going to wake up at 4 in the morning. He's going to brush his teeth. He will go to the bathroom. He will get dressed. At 4:20, he's going to start learning. This is what he will start learning. At 4:45, he's going to start learning the following. At 5:30, he's going to do this. And he sits there and marks out an entire day of what he's going to do that first day. And then he writes what he'll do the next day. And the next day. 40, 50 pages in, he realizes he's probably going to need a computer. And he shows up 4 weeks later. and he's holding in his hand a book. And he slams it down on his rabbi's table. And he says, take a look. That's my plan. Over the next 23 years, starting tomorrow, I'm going to learn not only the Talmud, not only the 5 books of Moses, not only Yerushalmi, not only, and he goes through a list of everything. He said, I'm going to learn through the entire Torah. It will take me 23 years, but I will do it. Rabbi Finkel looks at this gentleman and says, now that's a plan. That's a dream. Now we're talking. And he's smiling from ear to ear. The gentleman looks back at his Rebbe with a tear in his eye and says, Rebbe, I'm 70 years old. How can I possibly embark on a dream that I know I can never do? It would take me to 93 to finish this. It's impossible. Rabbi Finkel stood up in that room. Rabbi Finkel was a gentleman who suffered from Parkinson's disease for 28 years. He didn't have control over his muscles. His hands were going back and forth uncontrollably. His feet will go back. He could barely stand up. Rabbi Finkel is a gentleman who built building after building after building, who has thousands and thousands of students in Jerusalem. And he stood up, and from under the tablecloth, he takes out plans for yet another building. And he says, with his hands going back and forth, do you think I can do what I did? Look at me! And I saw that book. I saw volume 2 and volume 3. The 70-year-old gentleman is now 76. And I'm honored to call that gentleman my father. And just hours before coming here today, as I do every day, I call my dad and say, Dad, how's the dream? How's the dream coming along? And he says to me, you make plans. And that's one of the speakers mentioned. Sometimes there's option A, sometimes you gotta go to option B. There's plan A, there's plan B. I was getting up every morning at 4 o'clock. I'm getting a little older, I can only get up at 5. At this rate, I'm not sure if I'll hit it at 93. I might have to live to 97. But Shlomo, he said to me, a dream is a dream. And never lose sight of your dream. I love my dad. My dad is a person who stood with his feet on the ground, who stands with his feet on the ground and his head in the sky. He's a dreamer. The Ponovitch Rav, he was a dreamer, he was a builder. Rabbi Finkel, a dreamer. The Dean of Aish, Rabbi Weinberg, a dreamer. The people in this room, dreamers. The world has enough realists. We just need a few more dreamers. So I leave you with the blessing. May we merit to dream and to dream bigger and to dream bigger. I leave you with the blessing. May we merit to live our lives not like a polar bear in a prison, but let's live our lives with our feet on the ground, our head in the skies. And I leave us all with a blessing. May we merit to never lose sight of our dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Stilerman.